Hello Doctor, my name is SYAHMI by JUMBRI and my MIT number is 291860. Before we go in deep into our study, I will summarize the chapter 1 until chapter 3 in order to recap what we have done before. For chapter 1, there is 4 important things that I would like to highlight, which is the first one is background of the study, the second one is problem statement, the third one is research objective, and the last one is significance of the study. And we will go through it one by one. For background of the study, social media platforms are widely used for marketing, influencing consumer behavior, especially among university students. Social media marketing leverage targeted ad, influencer collaboration, and interactive content to shape purchasing decisions. UUM students with limited disposal of income are likely to impulse spending triggered by social media. For problem statement, UM students are highly active on social media, making them vulnerable to marketing strategy like targeted ad and sponsored content. Excessive exposure can reduce financial awareness while engaging with influencer and brand trust, further driven impulsing purchase. However, with limited research exists on how this factor collective impact spending behavior in this demographic. For research objective, the main objective was to examine the influence of social media marketing on UM student and spending behavior. And for the specific objective, it can break into three parts, which is the first one is to analyze the effect of advertisement exposure. The second one is assess the impact of engaging with sponsor content, and last one is to evaluate the role of brand trust. And lastly, for the significance of study, the finding will benefit the marketer, educator, and policymaker by providing insight into effective marketing strategy, financial literacy program, and consumer protective regulation. Next is chapter 2, which is the literature review. This chapter examines how social media marketing influence student spending behavior through four key factors. The first one is spending behavior is shaped by social media role in providing product information and peer recognition, guiding consumer through the decision-making process from need recognition to purchase. Second, advertisement exposure increased brand awareness and purchase intent. With engagement metric like likes and comment, reinforce it at effectiveness. Third, engagement with sponsor content build a trust as consumer perceive influencer promotion as more authentic than traditional ad. And finally, the brand trust significantly impact purchase decision with consumer preferring familiar, reputable brand. Together, this element demonstrates social media marketing a powerful role in shaping student purchasing habit. In conclusion, the literature confirms that social media marketing via ad engagement and brand trust able to shape student spending behavior, highlighting the gap in localized research. Lastly, I will summarize the chapter 3, which is the research methodology. For this chapter, I would like to explain three important things, which is the research framework, research design, and analysis technique. For the research framework, this study adopts a quantitative approach where it examines the relationship between independent variable and dependent variable. For independent variable, it consists of advertisement exposure, engagement with sponsor content, and brand trust. Meanwhile, dependent variable consists of spending behavior. And then for the research design, a descriptive survey study using questionnaire, which is Google form, will distribute to UM students via sampling. These questions are consist of close-ended Likert scale question to measure variable, and for data collection, it will break into three parts, which is the population, consists of 35,000 UM graduate, and then sampling, which is 75 respondent, and then lastly, tool we will be using SPSS for major statistical analysis. And lastly, for analysis technique, there is four technique that we will use, which is the first one is descriptive statistic to summarize demographic and variable data. The second one is reliability test, which is Cronbach alpha to ensure internal consistency. And the third one, Pearson correlation to measure relationship between variable. And the last one is regression analysis to determine predictive power of the independent variable. And that's all for me.
Hello everyone, my name is Mohamad FAHMI bin Makros. My metric number is 296229. So today I will talk about demographic characteristic of respondent. So we move to the first demographic, that is gender. So the study involved a total of 75 respondents. Out of this number, 31 respondents or 41.3% were male, while the remaining 44 respondents or 58.7% were female. This indicates that the majority of participants in the study were female students. Now we move to the in the term of age distribution. Most respondents were between 22 to 25 years old, representing 56 of the total sample, which account for 42 individuals. Meanwhile, 36 respondents or 34.7% were aged between 20 to 22 years. Additionally, 6 respondents or 8% were aged between 25 to 37 years, and only 1% of respondents were 27 years old or above. This finding shows that the sample was actually made up of young adult students, mostly female, with the majority aged between 22 and 25 years. Now we move to the college of the respondent. The table shows that the majority of respondents are from the College of Business, with a total of 45 respondents, representing 60% of the sample. The second highest group comes from the College of Law, Government and International Studies, with 60 respondents or 21.3%. Lastly, 14 respondents or 18.7% are from the College of Art and Science. This result indicates that most participants in the study were business students, followed by those from law and government, and finally arts and science. Now we will talk about the school of the respondent. The table shows that the majority of respondents are from SEFB, with 18 respondents or 24%. This is followed by SPM with 10 respondents, and both SOG and TISA with 9 respondents each. SOL had 7 respondents, while RBM and SAPSP each had 4 respondents. SLCP, SOE, and STML each contributed 3 respondents to this research, followed by SIMTC and SOC with 2 respondents each, and the lowest was SQS with only 1 respondent. This shows a wide range of participants across different schools, with SEFB having the highest number of respondents. Now we will talk about the semester of the respondent. According to the table, most respondents are in semester 6 with 34 students or 45.3%. This is followed by semester 4 with 18 respondents and semester 2 with 14 respondents. There are also 6 respondents from semester 8, 2 from semester 5, and only 1 respondent from semester 3. This shows that the majority of participants are in their final or near final semester. Now we will talk about the time spent on social media per day. Based on the table, the majority of respondents, 43 out of 75 or 57.3%, spend 3 to 6 hours per day on social media. This is followed by 20 respondents who spend 6 to 9 hours daily. Additionally, 7 respondents spend over 9 hours, while 4 respondents spend 1 to 3 hours. Only 1 respondent reported using social media for less than an hour a day. This shows that most students spend a significant amount of time on social media daily. Now we move to the last section of demography of the respondent. So we will talk about the spending on online shopping per week. The data shows that the majority of respondents, 54 out of 75 or 57%, spend less than 50 ringgit per week on online shopping. This is likely because most of the students who rely on study allowance like BTBTN, MARA or GPA. The second highest group with 10 respondents spend less than 100 ringgit weekly. Meanwhile, 4 respondents each spend less than 200 ringgit and less than 300 ringgit. Only 3 respondents reported spending 300 ringgit and above per week. This indicates that most students have limited spending power and tend to shop online within a low budget range. Now we move to the descriptive statistics. So first, for the spending behavior, the table shows the reliability test result using Crowbar Alpha. The value obtained is 0.884, which falls within the range of 0.8 0 to 0.90. This indicates very good reliability for all 5 items used to measure spending behavior in the study. Now we move to the advertisement exposure. Based on the table, the reliability test for advertisement exposure shows a Chromebox alpha value of 0.923. Since this exceeds 0.9, it indicates excellent reliability for all 5 items included in the analysis.
Hello, my name is Zakwan bin Muhammad RUZI, and my mention number is 2914887. So I will talk a little bit about the reliability statistics for IV2 and IV3, which is the engagement with sponsor content and also the brand trust variables. So for IV2, which is the engagement with sponsor content, we have the reliability statistics testing, or which we get Chromebox alpha around 0.938 for 4 items of question for these variables. So in the item total statistics, we get 4 Chromebox alpha if item deleted, but the C4, which is the question 4 for these variables, we have 0.94, which is a little bit higher from the initial Chromebox alpha. So this question will be a little bit less significant from the others. And based on the table itself, the reliability testing result for the engagement with sponsor content has shown that the value of Chromebox alpha is 0.938, where it lies above the 0.9 level, which is indicate an excellent reliability for all of the 4 items. We move on to the brand trust. In the descriptive statistics, we have all of the standard deviation, which is above 0.6, which means that it will be a good statistics. And throughout the reliability statistics for the IV3, which is the brand trust itself, we got the amount of Chromebox alpha on 0.913 for 5 numbers of items, which is the 5 question itself. So in the item total statistics, all of the Chromebox alpha, if item deleted from 5 question, we can see that there are 4 that is below the initial amount of Chromebox alpha, but the question 3, which is in D3, we have 0.92, which means that that particular question will be lessly significant a little bit from the others. So we can see that according to Zygmunt and Badin from 2010, the research itself, the level of 0.6 and above is the acceptable level of reliability. So based on the table above, the reliability test result for the brand trust has shown that Chromebox alpha of 0.913, the value indicate that this is an excellent for all the 5 items about the brand trust. So we move on to KMO and Bartlett test. So the KMO measure of sampling adequacy is at 0.682, which is above the threshold of 0.5, which also indicate that the sample is adequate for factor analysis. This data also suggests that it is suitable and can be considered normally distributed for analysis purposes. In Bartlett test, chi-square we got 1911.967, which is 171 degrees of freedom, which is highly significant because the p-value is at 0, which is below than 0.001. Since P is below than 0.05, it confirms that the variables are significantly correlated. So therefore, we can conclude that the factors influencing online shopping spending are interrelated and suitable for the further analysis. So we move on to the Pearson correlation. So for this part, we'll be taking out on the correlation for DV, IV1, IV2, and IV3, which one is significant and whatnot. So for DV itself is spending behavior, and then the IV1 is advertisement exposure, IV2 will be engagement with sponsored content, and also the IV3 will be the brand trust. So for the advertisement exposure, IV1, we got the R value on 0.861, and the p-value is below than 0.001, which is a strong and significant positive relationship with spending behavior, supported by Logan et al. In 2012 and Celebi in 2020. Engagement with sponsor content also have a significant positive relationship. R value is 0.79 and P value is below than 0.001. But this engagement or this variable would be the lowest among the three variables from the IV independent variables. This one is supported by Ishani and also Endima and Muyoki. For brand trust, we have the R value at 0.829. P value is below than 0.001, which is strong and also positive relationship, but a little bit lower from the IV1, which is the advertisement exposure, supported by Kumarisan and Chandra Mohan. So all of the variables show significant positive correlation with spending behavior, indicates that the advertisement exposure, content engagement and brand trust influence students' online spending decision. We move on to the regression analysis. In this study, multiple regression analysis was used to test the correlation between the DV and also the IVs. We can see here that the R value is 0.897, indicates a strong relationship as to how that we see in the correlation. This one is the strong relationship between the independent variables, the three independent variables, and also the spending behavior, which is the DV. So for R square value at 0.805, which means that 80.5% of the variation is spending behavior explained by the 3IV itself. And then adjusted R square, we got 0.797, adjusted for the number of predictors used in the model. For the standard error, we got 0.30056, indicates a good model fit with low estimation error. The model explains most of the variance in student spending behavior, and also it reflects a strong predictive power of the selected independent variables. Moving on to the ANOVA table, which is the analysis of variance. From this table, we can see that the model is statistically significant with a significant value of below than 0.001. The F value will be 98.001, which is considered high. This confirms that the independent variables, which is the IVs, together have a significant impact on the dependent variable, which is the spending behavior of UEM students. So the model is effective in predicting students' opinion on online spending behavior. And for my last part will be the regression analysis on coefficients, coefficient testing. So for this table, we can see the advertisement exposure on IV1 is at the B value of 0.401, and P value is below than 0.001, which is we get on zero numbers. Strong positive influence indicates that the social media advertisements significantly affect how students spend. And for IV2, we got B value at 0.174 and P value is at 0.019. Positive but weaker influence compared to the other variables, which is it is still significant but not the strongest factor influencing the spending behavior. For the IV3, which is the brand trust, we got B value at 0.343, P value at 0.004, which is lower from the IV2 but a little bit higher from the IV1. Shows that there is a significant and positive impact on spending behavior. It is similar to IV2 in strengths but more consistent in influence. So all three variables positively influence the spending behavior. IV2, the engagement variable, is the least impactful, though it's still significant. But for the IV1, the advertisement exposure is the strongest predictor to the DV itself.
Okay, I will continue to the 5.0 conclusion. This study investigates how social media marketing affect the spending behavior of UM students, focusing on three key factors, which is advertisement exposure, engagement with sponsored content, and brand trust. The result, based on the survey of 75 respondents, confirmed that all the three variables have a significant and positive impact on the spending behavior. Together, this factor explain 80.5% of the variance in the student spending behavior indicate a strong influence. Advertisement exposure emerged as the most powerful predictor, where beta equal to 0.459 and p less than 0.001. Students who spend 3 until 6 hours daily on social media are particularly open to ad, leading to reduce in financial self-control and more impulse purchase. This aligns with the previous research, which found that repeated ad exposure increased the product fame and increased unplanned spending. Engagement with sponsored content such as liking, commenting, or sharing posts also play a role, where beta equal to 0.213 and p equal to 0.019. However, its effect is weaker than ad exposure, suggesting that the passive viewing of ad has a stronger impact on spending than active interaction. This supports Ishani argument that peer endorsement and influencer promotion can nudge students toward purchase by enhancing perceived product value. Brand trust for the second largest factor, where beta equal to 0.292 and p equal to 0.004. Students are likely to spend when they are perceived brand as reliable and credible, especially when promotion include user testimonial, transparent review, and consistent influencer contribution. This finding reinforce the Kumarasan and Chandra Mohan research, which highlighting how trust reduce perceived risk and strengthen purchase intent. Next is implication. This study offers important theoretical and practical insight into how social media marketing influence student spending behavior. Theoretically, it advances our understanding by showing how ad exposure, engagement with sponsored content, and brain trust work together across all stages of consumer decision making by focusing on UUM students. It also extends Western-centric research to an emerging market context, demonstrating that digital marketing effects are consistent across culture. Next is implication. This study offers important theoretical and practical insight into how social media marketing influence student spending behavior. Theoretically, it advances our understanding by showing how ad exposure, engagement with sponsored content, and brain trust work together across all stages of consumer decision making by focusing on UUM students. It also extends Western-centric research to an emerging market context, demonstrating that digital marketing effects are consistent across culture. Practically, the finding provide actionable recommendation for three key group. Marketer should maintain strategy at present while avoiding fatigue, leverage authentic influencer partnership, and utilize user-generated content. University should incorporate digital literacy program to help students make informal purchasing decision. For regulator, the study support policy like mandatory ad disclosure to protect young consumer. These insights are particularly valuable as social media become increasingly influential in shaping the young adult spending habit globally. The research bridge theory and practice while addressing multiple stakeholder perspectives in digital marketing. For the last part is recommendation. Firstly, for university, should enhance financial literacy program by adding practical module on social media marketing. This could include analyzing real influencer campaign, identifying pay promotion, and workshop on budgeting for impulse purchase, such as hands-on learning help students develop critical thinking about digital ad while building responsibility spending habit. Secondly, for marketer and regulator, clear ethical guidelines are needed for influencer marketing, including permitted ad disclosure and limit on repetitive brand promotion. Collaboration between marketer and regulator can maintain authentically while protecting young consumer from manipulative practice. On the other hand, student association can organize peer sharing session where seniors discuss a real experience with impulse buying, emotional trigger, and coping strategy. This relatable discussion help normalize financial mindfulness across the university. And lastly, for future research, study tracking student spending pattern over time will reveal the marketing evolving impact. Mixed method research combining survey with interview could uncover psychological factor behind the purchase decision. Expanding studies to another Asian university would test culture vary in this effect. And that's all for me. Thank you.